here, another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships podcast. I am your host, Giovanna Burgess-White, with my co-host.
I have to just say, doo-wop. I'm Beth Aldenegro. So happy to be here. I cannot wait to see what you pick for our world famous end of the year holiday episode. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I just want to tell everybody right now, shame plug, you won't want to miss it.
Yes, we'll be together. For those of you guys who are watching us for the first time, welcome. We go live every Wednesday. We have a new podcast every Friday. We've been doing this for, I don't even know how many years now, but we do. We have a fun holiday celebration. So if you're listening to this one, this is actually right before Christmas. So again, happy holidays. And then next week, we'll come to you live in our pajamas. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this one because it's one of my favorite topics. But next week, we have so many announcements to make for 2023. It's like you get to go through Christmas and have this great mini series that we're talking about. But then you start off the new year going, oh my God, I can't believe all this is happening. So welcome. Again, if you're watching for the first time or listening, welcome. We are relationship coaches. We talk about redesigning the relationships that are most important to you. This podcast is really for you, made by us for you. So anything that you want to know about relationship-wise, just message us. We will get those mini-series started. And today we're going to end with part 4 of our mini-series. Don't worry. If you're joining us and you're like, what are you talking about? We're going to have you go back. So this is part 4. Go back to the intro, part 1, part 2, part 3. I'm going to add this to the screen if you're watching, and let me get tech here. We're going to go through what we've been talking about, which is collaborations, connections, our favorite things to do in the whole wide world. And like I said, today we're going to talk about networking.
So part 1 was an intro to everything. Part 2 was the connections. Last week we did collaborations, but please go back. They're very quick. I think power punch, just packed full of a lot. We did that on purpose because there's so much to talk about. This is really just to really start inspiring you. And if you have any questions, then actually comment, give us or DM us, however you want to reach out to us. But definitely let us know what your feedback is. And then today is it all goes into networking. The intro, what is a connection? What is a collaboration? Why are we doing this? Why is this so important? Because it leads into, which is probably one of the biggest things everybody wants to know, the whys, the networking side of things. Yeah. So super excited. And we, just to kind of give another quick recap, the connections, we give examples, we talked about the definitions, and then as we stated in the very beginning, our personal story is so intertwined with connections, collaborations, and networking. And I think that's why we're so passionate about it. And that's why we love giving little golden nuggets. And I know that this is going to be a good one. I know this is super near and dear to your heart. And so I'm sure you have a long list of things you want to say. Do you want to go over the definitions again, real quick?
So yeah, you can go back to connection, collaborations, part 2 and 3. And then today we're talking about networking, the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. Favorite word here, interacting. So why we did a 4-part series is because without connections, you really can't have a collab, and without really connections and collaborations, there's no point in networking. So I wanted to bring you another slide of just some networking tips. This is by a blog by Juice Tank, but today Yvette and I will also tell you some tips and tricks on networking, and we're going to talk about authentic and genuine networking. But I thought this was cool. You can go to juicetank.com and get the actual, they went really deep on the 10, but real quick, I'm just going to go through them. Number 1, go with the intention of building relationships and meeting new people. Man, if you just go with that, I feel like you're going to be great. Number 2, focus on giving versus getting. Oh, they should all be highlighted. Number 3, be present and focus on the person you are talking to. Number 4, listen more than you talk. 4, listen more than you talk. 5, think long-term versus short-term. We'll go back to 4 again. Listen more than you talk. Okay. 5, think long-term versus short-term. Very important. 6, ask questions that will start an open dialogue. 7, don't overcommit or feel guilty. That goes back to our boundaries series. 8, quality versus quantity. 9, take immediate action. Take immediate action. 10, only go to events that excite you.
Oh, say it
Could
again.
I know, could they have not put a better list together? Thank you, G-Sync. Like, I thought, wow, in a nutshell, this was exactly what we're going to talk about today. I love all of them. They're all extremely important. But yes, you can't be in everything, can't go to everything. So only go to the events that excite you. Because when you're excited, it's an emotion, it's going to show, and you're going to go with the intention of building relationships and meeting new people, which is number one. Okay, let's dive deep. Let's go. Let's give them some more nuggets. Let's go.
Okay, well, this is a very succinct list. I love it. I think it's great. Can we comment on different ones, or do you want to go through?
Let's go.
Okay. What we laughed when it said listen more than you talk. One, I think that's a great reminder for the two of us. But secondly, nothing's worse than when you meet someone in those settings and they just go on and on and on and talk about stuff that you never even asked, you never even were concerned, and it's almost like they go straight from their elevator pitch to how many dogs and cats they have to the latest and greatest things in their business and why they're the greatest ever, like, and more them company, all the perks. And by the way, do you want to sign up and be a part of my group? Like,
yeah.
Whoa, like, no, not even, no.
Yeah, and I think there's like some pre-work before you even do networking, which I like to, well, we both like to educate because we go to a lot of networking events. We both live in two different parts of Houston. There's so many options out there. And I think you also need to, what I like to call like kind of like first shop around for groups. Go online, check out what their mission statement is, what their values are, like what type of networking group is it? Because as you know, if you know us, we go to business networking events. We go to wellness, women, wine, and wellness networking events. We go to networking events that are really just for philanthropy. So there's different types of events that'll fill your cup. And then there's referral based networking events. So really start to look again, go back to the first 3 episodes, but like have clarity around what you want and what you need. Really go through these tips because it's, again, if you're going just to think that you're just going to build your business and you're not going to make any connections and you're just going to go push cards, very far and few networking groups are good for that. Even the ones that are referral based, you still have to spend the time and build those relationships and make those connections. But I would say before you even go here, go online. Make sure that number 10, they go to events that excite you. If it's something that doesn't excite you, just take it off your list. It's okay to shop around too. Normally, most networking groups allow you to go once or twice before having to become a member. There's also chamber events. So really just kind of figure out what's the best thing for you and then how many can you actually manage, because a lot of people go and do all the networking and then guess what? They don't take immediate action. They don't follow up. And then they're like, oh, networking doesn't work. Networking is not for me. We hear that all the time. And so there is a formula to that as well. But I would say spend some time beforehand figuring out what it is that you need for you personally, for your business, or maybe it's just something that you want to get out and meet new people. And then from there, go and shop around and then start paying those memberships, or then start saying, okay, these are the top 2 that I'm going to start, investing my time in. And then from there, it's really, really important. Number 2, giving versus getting. How many times have we been to an event where it's like, oh, no, we're not coming back because that's not the mission for them. It's just people going to, again, push cards and not listen. They're just talking. It's a very small time, very small window. Some of these events are only an hour. So you really want to make sure that you also know what you're going to bring to the table. It's not about, honestly, it's really not about you. It's about having these connections. And we talked about this in the last 2 episodes. And then it may not feel right then, but there's a reason why you met that person. Either you're going to refer or something's going to come up later on and they're going to remember you. So be memorable and don't be that person. Just don't be that person that just goes there to talk about themselves. Okay.
I was just going to sit back because I was like, is she just going to keep going?
No, I'm done. Okay. I get passionate.
I know. And I love it. I think time is super, super valuable, and you don't have to be a serial networker. Like, that this is not like, oh, open up the floor, like this is a go to 20 a week. No, we're not even saying that. It's, I love what you just said. Pick and choose, make sure, which goes back to, so I kind of, in my mind, when I was thinking in networking, I did it into groups. In my head, it's like you, the person going to the networker event, and then the person actually leading the networking event. So the hand in hand, what we were talking about before with connections and collaborations, I went back straight back to the, what is the purpose? What is the purpose? If you get up in the morning and when you're getting dressed and you're like, why am I even going? Good question. Why are you going? So ask yourself that. What is the purpose for you to be going to this meeting, networking group, whatever it is for yourself, attached with what is the intention of the group? Because if those two things align, then you cannot go wrong. So when you're going through lists 1 through 10, it's like this is a win-win, because now you're going into, hey, I'm just going to go meet people. This is all relationship. I'm going to give it time. I'm going to listen. I'm not doing the whole, I'm not going to like, oh my God, I'm going to run out of here with 100 business cards. Why? That is the person who just goes from now, and there's a time and place for that. I get that. But most of the time it's like making really valuable connections so that someone remembers you. And then it takes 2 or 3 times to actually go. So familiar faces, the conversation again, you just don't walk in and like handed everything. And by the way, it's work. When you get there, it's not just, oh, let me just sit and everyone's going to come to me. In a wonderful networking group with women who are great about inclusion, great. But most of the time it's both. You come in with a great attitude saying, I'm going to meet amazing people. And then the group also has the attitude of, we're going to be very welcoming. So to me, it was the side of the individual purpose matched with intention. And then on the whole other side of the person hosting the event, I just wrote down 3 things that I thought were important. No matter your strategy, no matter what your personal purpose is in your group, no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish, if you have the idea that for everybody coming, you're gonna give them something, like they're gonna get, but your intention is, we're going to give as an organization. So they're all 3 G's. Then your intention should be growth, a healthy growth, because you want to grow the group, right? That's the whole point of the connections and all that kind of stuff, which goes into, you are actually gaining something with the new people. That's new connections, new collaborations, new breath of like refreshing, almost like being revived. But that's just more people depending on what industry and whatever they bring to the table, who they are, the people that so you're gaining. And which goes all the way back to G. That G goes all the way back to, you go back to the beginning, go give. Yep. So if you start off with giving, then you're going to grow, you're going to gain, go back to the give. It's just like this circular thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, I mean, again, this mini series was really for you to understand that it is connecting the dots. Connections have to happen. Building those relationships have to happen. It takes time before you can start collaborations. But I really wanted to talk about networking. And again, don't feel like if you go to 1 or 2 events, it's not your vibe. I think having clarity of what you need. There is business networking. I mean, that's like one of the oldest forms of networking. I mean, there's also personal growth and development networking. There's also just, again, wellness or philanthropy. So pick and choose what you think you need and then try them all out. I feel like we did almost a full year after we got a wedding industry or the event industry, that we just kind of went through and like went to all of these different networking groups to make sure it was a right fit for both parties. Because it is, like you just said, there is the power of being able to go to a networking group and then also be part of the growth of a networking group. And, you know, for those of you guys who know us, we're part of a lot, and I'm on the board for a few. And I just think it's so great to see that and see new members and, you know, bringing in new blood and people that have been networking for years with people who haven't networked at all. So again, just write down a list of what it is that you need. And then from there, search in your area. It's so easy. If you have any questions, reach out to us, because we know so many organizations that are nationwide, not just in Houston, and that we can really help you find. And like we said, go back and listen to the first 3 episodes of this mini series, because I think that really this is going to be a powerful one for whatever part of your, business or life that you're in. I think this is extremely important to know and to understand.
Yeah, and I feel like these are very short, sweet, and to the point, but there's so much more on each topic. I mean, we could have done a whole month just picking each one of these topics, and even in networking, the whole side to strategy, how to do an event. I mean, if anybody needs the seriously from the how do I even walk in? I'm so nervous walking into a group of people I don't even know, which is a real thing. That's true for so many people. To the person hosting the event or wanting to host an event or have like this amazing idea of gathering people together, but they're like, I don't really know how to do this.
Yep.
Everything in between, if you need help, if you want encouragement, we're here to help in any way.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed, and happy holidays if you're watching live or listening to us on the week that we drop. And then don't forget to don't miss out on next week's episode, because it's gonna be so much fun. We can't wait to bring in the new year with you in our pajamas and with bubbles and just talk about all the great things that are happening in 2023. So until next time.
Hey.